So, quantum physics. Midway note. I'm awaiting the great question of what the heck does quantum physics has to do anything in the religions beliefs section? You mad, bruh? I have some cool stuff to add to this whole shebang. Trust me with this one. So, we know religions, we know beliefs, spirituality. Okay, that's that. But then again, there's also witchcraft, paganism, astrology, all that, and natural resources that are commonly used in witchery and pagan practices. So let us see a bit of randomness that is scientifically backed in the spiritual things. Then let us go into a bit of vibrations, herbs, crystals, a bit of neuroscience, and we'll see how it all adds up. Hang in there, babe. This chapter is just long, but then again, I just have that much to throw out at you. So I'm still using some ChatGPT for the written bits. Yes, I am. I'm lazy arse right now, writing this whole chapter on a beachside in the darn middle of September, sweating my off, as even though the wind is blowy, the sun is trying to fry me the heck alive. That's that. So back to things and the queries from ChatGPT. So quantum physics, also known as quantum mechanics, is a fundamental branch of physics that deals with the behavior of matter and energy at the smallest scales, where classical physics principles break down. It is a highly successful and accurate theory that has revolutionized our understanding of the subatomic world. Here's an overview of quantum physics, its key aspect, and some of the intriguing theories associated with it. There's quantum particles. Wave-particle duality. One of the most fundamental principles of quantum physics is the wave-particle duality. It suggests that particles like electrons and photons can exhibit both particle-like and wave-like properties, depending on how they are observed and measured. Quantization of energy. In quantum physics, energy levels are quantized, meaning they can only take on specific discrete values. This concept is evident in the behavior of electrons in atoms, where they occupy distinct energy or orbitals. Superposition and entanglement. So superposition, quantum particles can exist in superposition of multiple states simultaneously. This means that until measured, the particle can exist in a combination of different positions, energies, or other properties. Entanglement. When two or more particles become entangled, their quantum state becomes correlated in such a way that the state of one particle instantly influences the state of another, regardless of the distance separating them. This phenomenon famously led to Albert Einstein's description of it as spooky action at a distance. Uncertainty principle. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle proposed by Werner Heisenberg states that it is impossible to simultaneously know the exact position and momentum or velocity of a quantum particle with absolute certainty. The more precisely one property is known, the less precisely the other can be determined. And quantum mechanics equations. Described by a set of mathematical equations, including the Schrödinger equation, which governs the behavior of quantum physics. These equations are used to calculate probabilities of various outcomes for quantum events. So there's also the theories of quantum entanglement teleportation. So quantum state of one particle can be transmitted instantaneously to another distant entangled particle. So there's also the quantum computing, cryptography, tunneling, many words of interpretation. It's fascinating interpretation of quantum mechanics that suggests that their quantum measurement occurs, the universe splits into multiple branches, with each possible outcome occurring in a separate parallel universe. It's a concept that challenges our understanding of reality. And then there's quantum field theory and quantum gravity. So one of the things that might pique brain, especially when you're going to like belief systems and trying to find things, in the recent years, for example, multiverse or parallel dimensions has started to pick up as like a mainstream thing. From movies such as Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, to Marvel movies, to many others, they explore the ideas of multiple realities. As well as there's spiritual practices where people say that you simultaneously live all your possible lives and you, like, by the thing that you choose to do, you choose one of the realities you are going to pursue. So if you are willing to, you know, kind of like those mindset stuff, where they say that if you're willing to be, for example, like a business owner or a millionaire or whatever, you have to start acting like that version of you. So what would that you do to reach that goal, you know? And it's kind of like, hence you start to change your behavior, your patterns, your whole neural networks of like the brain, and like work through you yourself psychologically. Change your diet, change your surroundings, including people you speak with, what you consume through online or in general, you know, physically what food you eat. And that kind of like makes you shift into like another option of you, which is kind of like deemed easier to pursue whichever goal you want to pursue. So that is like pretty cool thing to also look into. Also, there's with quantum physics, in the past 10 years, there has been so many new breakthroughs in quantum physics that it's absolutely fascinating to read into every once in a while, especially when it comes to, for example, the where was it? It's like, where? Give me a second. So if something from one side changes, so does it change on the other side, you know? So depending on how, it's kind of like weird how this kind of like said about it. In a sense that, yeah, it's teleportation. So so the quantum state of one particle can be transmitted instantaneously to another disentangled particle. So as long as the particles are entangled, it does not matter how far apart they are. It's that they will change simultaneously, sort of. And that in itself had brought a lot of kind of like thoughts and ideas in how you changing yourself in the now, in how you approach things and how you change things and how you feel for most part, because for most part energy is sort of transmitted through your brain and your heart, because those two have electromagnetic waves emitted from these organs, and that in itself can change, in a sense, you yourself, either in the past or in the future. Not like, you know, traveling in the past, but like how you felt at certain times and places in the past. It's like also the ideas of how to heal yourself, you know, in a sense, like, you know, if you choose to believe that. Okay, then we have the vibes, not the one that you thought about. So human body emits electromagnetic frequencies, particularly from the heart and the brain. These electromagnetic signals are a natural part of the body's physiological process and can be detected and measured using specialized equipment. Overview of frequencies generated by the heart and the brain. So, heart's electromagnetic frequencies. The heart generates electrical activity with each heartbeat. This electrical activity is measured as an electrocardiogram, ECG or EKG, which represents the electrical signals associated with the contraction and relaxation of the heart's chamber. The frequency of these signals typically range from 0.05 to 100 hertz. So heart rate variability refers to variation in time between successive heartbeats. So emotional and energetic health. So depending on what you feel, you know, the energy emitted by your heart can be different, you know, so food for thought. There's also the brain electromagnetic frequencies. So can be recorded using electroencephalogram, EEG, measuring the electrical potential generated by neurons in the brain. So different brainwave frequencies are associated with various mental states and activities. The brainwave frequencies include delta, 0.5 to 4, associated with deep sleep and unconscious. Theta, from 4 to 8, occurs during meditation. deep relaxation and light sleep. Alpha from 8 to 12 associated with relaxed wakefulness and calm mental states. Beta from 12 to 30 occurs during active thinking, problem solving, and alertness. And gamma from 30 to 100 associated with high level cognitive functions, perception, and consciousness. So in every state that your heart is, it's impacted by what you feel, your emotions. With the brain, though, it's been shown that such things as hypnotism, being under hypnosis, or like listening to certain hertzes, certain vibrations, can put you in a certain state. And depending on what you want to learn, or if you want help with learning something new, or like getting yourself to kind of like change up stuff, there's like so many online on YouTube and other places videos with these hertzes playing on the background, and there's like affirmations or meditation playing, and they kind of like there's also guided meditations where they kind of like guide you through things you should kind of be thinking of, and how to change your mindset and everything else. But with all of that, there's also like a disclaimer. Check exactly what it says, because sometimes it can, especially there's like, if you yourself subconsciously do not believe certain statements being said during like, those guided meditations or meditations or affirmations, it may collide with you internally, and that information is not going to stick. So for you to be able to receive these like new any kind of new information, you have to be open to it. So I mean, I've seen this a lot on online videos where people are trying to learn to be like, yeah, getting more money in my life, getting more love in my life. And once they start listening to these affirmations, to these meditations, if they had very bad experiences throughout their like life previously, if they had been like, drilled about, certain aspects, being very negative about the things that they really want in life, they first of all have to get kind of like rid of these negative thought patterns and beliefs that they have internally regarding the thing that they want, to then be able to be receptive towards the new thing. So as a thingy time. So then we have amygdala. Is a small almond-shaped cluster of nuclei located deep within the temporal lobes of the brain, one on each side. It plays a central role in processing emotions, particularly those related to fear and the evaluation of potential threats. Here's an overview of amygdala, its functions and significance in the brain. So that in itself is fear and threat response, so emotional recognition. Involved in recognizing and interpreting emotional expressions in others, allowing us to discern whether somebody's happy, sad, fearful, or angry. This ability is crucial for social interaction and communication. One of the primary functions of amygdala is to assess and respond to potential threats and danger. So, memory and learning, social behavior, and all that. The one thing with amygdala is that if as a child you have been through a lot of if you've been a part of a very stressful environment, if you have been very much on edge, which resulted in CPTSD later on in life, your amygdala most likely is going to be bigger. And that's the product of being for most part in the state of survival, fear, anxiety. And that is why it's kind of like it takes a while for you to kind of like restructure your brain to perceive more peace around yourself, more calm around yourself as you start to reprogram your own brain. Because amygdala is going to be like still seeking for threats at all times, and she'll be more alert, especially if you've been through, traumatic experiences, and it's like not for like too short of amount of time, but even that affects amygdala. But in general, if you have been a part of like a very, very stressful things for a very long time, and I mean years. It's impacting it. So it's impacting even the memory function, plays a pivotal role in formation and storage of emotional memories. Traumatic or highly emotional events are more likely to be remembered due to the amygdala's involvement. Free conditioning. Amygdala is central to process called fear conditioning. So, once again, traumas. In this process, an initially neural stimulus, such as sound or image, becomes associated with a fearful or aversive experience. The amygdala is critical for learning and remembering these fear-related associations. So, now you know. So basically, that is kind of like that. So pineal gland and amygdala. Pineal gland and the amygdala are two distinct structures within the brain, each with its unique functions and significance. So pineal gland is a small pine cone-shaped endocrine gland located in the central region of the brain, deep within the brain's cerebrum. It is situated in the epithalamus, near the thalamus and hypothalamus. The primary function of the pineal gland is the production and secretion of melatonin, a hormone that plays a crucial role in regulating sleep-wake cycle, circadian rhythm, and promoting sleep. Melatonin production is influenced by light and darkness, with melatonin levels typically rising at night and falling during the day. Pineal gland is controlled by the Okay, so there's a lot of stuff. Role in spirituality. In some spiritual and esoteric belief systems, the pineal gland is associated with the third eye and considered a seat of spiritual insight and intuition. These ideas are not based on scientific evidence and are part of alternative and mystical traditions. Same with amygdala. So pair of almond-shaped clusters and nuclei. So that's that. Both of them. Jesus. So they kind of help you with your. So what is stressor? The other one is kind of like more based in like the calm stuff. So if you want to change your kind of like fear behaviors, or if you want to work on what you fear the most, you should like a little bit address that, but at the same time go into if it helps the emitted hertz of the brain, to get into like a theta state or beta state for you to be more receptive into changing these kind of like fearful stuff into something more positive, as long as you're more open to it. Okay, so brain stuff. Now we have Schumann resonance. Is a set of natural electromagnetic resonances of frequencies that exist in the Earth's ionosphere cavity, the space between the surface of the Earth and the ionosphere, a region of the Earth's upper atmosphere. It was first predicted by physicist Schumann in 1952 and later observed by him and Koenig in the early 60s. And here are some key points about the Schumann resonance. So, frequencies are approximately. First resonance fundamental frequency is 7.83 Hertz. So that's basically what the whole Earth resonates at. Higher harmonics. The first harmonic occurs at 14.3 Hertz, and higher harmonics continue at multiples of the fundamental frequency 21.6, 28.8, etc. These frequencies are in extremely low frequency range of electromagnetic spectrum. So, generated by lightning discharges around the world, lightning strikes produce electromagnetic pulses and travel along the surface of the Earth and get trapped within the Earth ionosphere cavity, creating standing waves. So that's that, leading to formation of the first Schumann resonance. Earth's natural. Schumann resonance is the natural part of the Earth's electromagnetic environment and has been present for millions of years. It serves as a reference signal for various forms of electromagnetic communication, including navigation systems. Effect on living organisms. Some proponents of alternative and holistic health practices suggest that the Schumann resonance frequencies have beneficial effects on human health and well-being. They propose that these frequencies are Earth's heartbeat and that being in sync with them can promote relaxation and stress reduction. However, scientific evidence supporting these claims is limited and the mainstream scientific community does not endorse such ideas. So that's also one of the things that people do look at. And in the spiritual community, that's also one of the things people do like to talk about. So there's also emotional vibrations. So energy and vibrations. In these belief systems, emotions are believed to emit a form of energy or vibration that extends beyond the physical body. These emotional vibrations are thought to carry a certain energetic quality or frequency associated with the emotion being experienced. Emotions are often categorized into broad categories, positive, negative. So genuinely with emotional vibrations, if you Google up any of it, you can find pictures with which emotions have which vibrations. And there's even some practitioners that say that if you vibrate at a certain level of emotions, like peace, love, if you keep on feeling it, you keep on resonating with it, and that's what you attract. Because there's a lot of people who say that it's kind of like you attract what you feel, and that leads to things as well. Not so much as you attract what you think. Because some spiritualists proved that basically your heart is more potent in being a manifester in things in your life than your mind. Debatable. But that's the holistic and the spiritual people out there. So yeah. Then there's holistic medicine. A complementary or alternative medicine is an approach to healthcare that emphasizes the whole person's well-being, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Goes beyond the treatment of symptoms or specific diseases and seeks to address the root causes of health issues by considering the interconnectedness of various aspects of an individual life. So there's the whole treats individual as a whole, recognize physical health, mental, emotional well-being, social factors, spiritual beliefs, and interconnectedness to influence on skills. Anywhere. So, I do apologies. So with holistic health, it's kind of interesting to note that some of the creators regarding the holistic health, they are very much not only showing how to be more of a scavenger and kind of utilize plants and flowers and all sorts of living out there things, which actually have health properties in them. So it's a lot of biology, basically, herbology class in general when you look at them. Some tend to be quite obnoxious, quite crazy in their outreach to what they think a herb or a plant can do. Some others are more down to earth and are mainly using quite the scientific methods proven, as well as the researches that are proven in their content that they're sharing. So there's the holistic methods can include something as oil pulling. So people say that that's crazy, it doesn't work. And some people, it's kind of interesting that once you start oil pulling with coconut oil, or there's new ideas that you can do it with olive oil, your teeth are gonna heal themselves. And some biologists, some of the women who's been in the industry for years and who research things for years, there's one specific lady that comes across my TikTok feed that I see a lot, and she's quite a scientist, honestly. Although right now I cannot remember the name for the life of me. She not only talks about your chemical compound of your body and what your parts of body are made of chemically, but what plants and or herbs can be used to reinvigorate your body without too much of getting there with supplements or whatnot. And she was getting really giving really interesting talks about it, presentations and even classes where she would go into depths of what your, for example, teeth are made of, and what can happen in case of, and what your diet should genuinely look like. And she was telling a lot about how dark green leafed plants are better to eat once a day for your health, and that calcium supplements are all the best. And there's like other ways to get your calcium supplements without like actual, pills and that. And she even said that genuinely milk negates the calcium in general. It doesn't, have much of that, and that's kind of like interesting to watch. But don't trust everything you see online. Do your research to see if that's true or not. Kind of like do your research, especially when it comes to holistic medicine. I think with holistic medicine, there's also this Reiki that's also been very popular as this energy healing. So they approach you with this kind of like energy healing thing. And in the community, it's kind of interesting that some people do respect Reiki healing, and they get to be masters to feel the energy of a person, to cure and like heal the energy of a person. But some others say that it's not a good thing, and it comes from, something evil, pretty much like anything that's spiritual. There's always the yay-sayers and naysayers. So that's always funny. But yeah, a lot of like getting to be one with nature, and it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like a thing to check out as well in case of, So there's also the crystal vibration. So a lot of witches and spiritual people tend to use crystals. Funny enough, crystals do have their vibrations also. That is proven. That is proven. But all in all, different crystals emit different vibrations and or so-called energies that might help with certain conditions and or situations. Like a lot was said about rose quartz and how that helps with self-love, and or citrine, which helps with money, pyrite as well, that helps with money, or labradorite, that is quite highly life-changing. There was a hype at some level about moldavite, and people were like, oh my god, let's take moldavite, and then all the moldavite people were just like gone off the social media, with returning every once in a while telling the wildest ever stories of what happened to their lives and how it changed. And it's kind of like, yeah, maybe it does something. So with the crystal vibrations and crystal healing, there's also the thing about the chakras, because some systems of crystal healing align specific gemstones with the body's chakras, which are believed to be energy centers that correspond to different aspects of physical and emotional well-being. Practitioners use gemstones associated with each chakra to promote balance and alignment. So some people use stones to hold them during meditation. Somebody surrounds themselves with stones for protection, for balance, for whatever, idea you can think of. So that's that. So there's a lack of like scientific evidence. So frequencies and their effects are not supported by scientific evidence, which gemstones and minerals do have unique properties in terms of their physical and chemical composition. The idea that they emit specific vibrational energies can be directly influence human well-being, like some empirical validation. There's also placebo effect and yada, yada, yada that they like to talk about. But genuinely, if you go into it and you start researching it, things do work. There's also this part of electroculture where they do the copper wires, and that helps in agriculture. So depending on what you wish to pursue down the rabbit hole, that's one of the really good ideas and genuinely like topics also to explore. I myself went there and I bought a bunch of crystals as well. And actually, it kind of feels well, to me personally, when I went into like the whole of the quantum physics, I was like, quarks, damn, superposition, hell yeah. I was highly into it, and I was like, oh my god, that's so crazy. So basically, everything at the same time matters. So how you vibrate matters. How it's like there's also these kind of like things of like you having your own vibration within a certain range around yourself. And then other people do have that too. So when you are close enough in close proximity with the people who are, feeling anxious, who are feeling different emotions, that kind of rubs off on you too. And that's why you kind of sense that too. So, yeah, energies. And that is why some people like to carry protective stones, for example, for their protection, as they kind of sense that that would protect them. And I was not, I was also part of that. I was not away from it also. I went with the onyx stone and tourmaline because that was said that it protects a heck a lot. Frankly, I don't know, it kind of does for me. Kind of worked out for me. So with the physics, it's kind of like you go there because it's interesting, and then you learn about it, and you're like, wait a minute. It kind of sounds something along the lines of the stuff that I heard from these spiritual people, and then you research that, and you're like, hey, wait a minute. Why does it kind of sound similar? Because if you go there, you kind of find the similarities. But then again, it can be like, I don't know, imagination, where people try to find similarities because that's what they seek for. So what you seek for, you will attract. And that's also one of the things that you get there. So if you seek problems, you'll attract problems. If you seek solutions, you'll attract solutions. So if you seek positivity, that's exactly what you'll attract. I have been seeking problems for most of my life. That's where I was. But I was basically unconscious because being part of problems, being in a chaotic environment, being in like a crazy survival mode was like the comfort zone for me for so many years. Not anymore. Now I'm more of a person that likes peace. So that's why I like spiritual girlies who like their crystals, because rocks are cool. Even if you do not believe in like the properties of the said stones and rocks, you can still hit with them. So so once I genuinely loved how one of my friends said that, like, don't worry, I'll just align your chakras, and she just pulled out this knuckle thingy with like a heck of like a bunch of like very spiky stones on it, and I was like, okay, that yay, that makes a lot of sense. It's like that's self-defense one-on-one right there. And so yeah, that's the quantum physics there. So I think we can take a break now.